It's almost time for WWE to take their talents to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where this Saturday they will put on the next premium live event. We can't call it pay-per-view anymore, even though pay-per-view is something that was ingrained in so many people's heads, so many minds, so many hearts, so many bodies, so many souls, but it got to the point where nobody was willing to pay or view these things or pay per viewing these things. So let's just move it over to the cock for a boatload of cash, and then let's get a boatload of cash from the USA Network and from Fox. And speaking of boatloads of cash, the Saudi Crown Prince and WWE struck a deal. Hey, 2 times a year, bring some talents over, and we'll put you in a stadium. We'll pay you a ton of money. Just bring people over, put on a show. Tens of thousands of people will pack a stadium. And hey, who knows? Maybe the various fans there will be able to witness something or multiple things on these cards they will be able to take with them for the rest of their lives. But before we get to this particular event, this premium live event, we got to talk about what might happen on the show. So let's get to it, shall we? I'm John Rentham with my WWE Crown Saw Jewel 2022 predictions. Crown Jewel, of course, had to work that in. But let me know what you think might happen on the show in the comments, please. Also, one quick note, I'm not going to be watching this live. I'm going to be working because, honestly, even though I like to watch a lot of these events live because my time is limited, I also like getting paid. And I don't really want to take a shift off just to watch a card that I'm not going to even say this is going to be a terrible card. They are putting a little bit more effort into these. And as long as the talents have a good time and everybody is able to get to and from the show safely, that's really what matters. So, yeah, 7-match card. I mean, if they add anything, a kickoff match or whatever, I'm recording these Tuesday morning. If they add anything else, excuse me for not having the clairvoyance to see ahead. And also, since SmackDown is happening this Friday, and that's literally within 15 hours of the show happening, I don't really see the point in waiting until then. So we get Ridge and Peter Dune against the Usos, the Undisputed Tag Team Championship match. I have the Usos winning. Why? There is no reason for Ridge and Peter Dune to win. They're already going with the Usos having the record here. They're going to beat the New Day to beat their record. Either, I can't remember if it's just before Survivor Series or maybe at Survivor Series. I'm not actually sure. I would be very, very, very shocked if they decide to switch tag titles. So the Usos win. And speaking of things I really don't care about, the OC, the only club that matters. You know, riding on the coattails of a stable that really lost steam around 2016, right around the time AJ left as the leader. Big shock. So you take an ultra once in a generation talent like AJ Styles out of it, and gee, I wonder what happened. So AJ Styles and the Good Brothers, home of the Good Brothers, may we take your order, aka Luke Gallows and Carl, they stink, bro, Anderson. Oh wait, you're going to pay me how much? They no longer stink. They're going to be taking on Judgment Day. Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and unfortunately Dominic. Dominic is going to wrestle live in front of the crowd. Boy, I really hope they boo the shit out of him. They won't, but I really hope they do. And Rhea Ripley's going to be in the corner. They'd be better off having Rhea there. I guess the OC will win. Carl Anderson, by the way, is still the current never openweight champion. And I know that belt doesn't really mean a whole lot to a lot of people. It doesn't mean all that much to me, even though wrestlers have really competed, well to try and establish and make it important. I mean, Shibata probably was the last really good one. Thank you very much, Chris, if you're watching this. Hot fresh Shibata. But yeah, Tanahashi, you had Shingo, and various others to try to make the never openweight title meaningful. Nevertheless, I guess they're just going to have that match take place at Wrestle Kingdom, possibly, maybe, or just strip them of the title and maybe get rid of it. Nevertheless, that's for a New Japan video. The OC wins. I mean, that's really how little I care about this. They might pin Priest. They might pin Finn. They might pin Dominic. I don't know what they're going to do. Honestly, I don't care about this feud. I just don't. Let's get Braun versus Edward James Olmos out of the way. Braun wins. Or it's a double count out. Or a piece of the stadium falls on the ring and busts the ring up and these guys can't compete. I would actually be okay with that. As long as nobody was actually hurt. Braun wins. I have no desire to put a lot of effort into this prediction. Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross with Scarlett Steel cage match. Drew will win. This whole Karrion Drew McIntyre feud has meant nothing. Meant absolutely nothing. That fireball botch, the fact that all this other stuff keeps going on. Cross is just not interesting. He was interesting when he was in NXT, and then he got schooled by everybody that was cutting promos on him. And then he just ended up not really doing much of anything of note once he left. He had a terrible match with Davey Boy Smith Jr. or Harry Smith Jr., or whatever the hell you want to call him, at the Ric Flair's last match event. And then they brought him back. I would not be surprised if Karrion and Scarlett were gone within 6 months. They have not really meant all that much. So Drew McIntyre will win. Then we get to something that's a little bit hard to predict. The Beast of Bork Laser versus Bobby Lashley. I would like to see maybe the Hurt Business reform and Bobby Lashley to, win. Because I think that Brock's fine as a tweener, even though people love him. But, I mean, you could have Brock win, but then what do you do with Lashley? But, I mean, they kind of wrote themselves into a corner. So, I'll just say Brock's going to win. Unless they reform the Hurt Business and they have Lashley do it, and they have Lashley go back heel, which he seems to be just fine as a face. Brock will win. There we go. It is what it is. Bianca versus Bayley in the last women's standing match for the Raw Women's Championship. Okay, Bianca had her knee worked on. Maybe she won't be able to stand. But Dakota, Io, Asuka, and unfortunately Alexa will probably interfere. And maybe they'll have Nikki Cross interfere. Maybe they'll have other people interfere. Maybe they'll have Candice interfere. Maybe they'll just bring all the women out there. They'll fly them all over for this big run-in spot. That's the same as it ever was, and as the days go by, Bianca will win. Damage control is a good idea, and I'm not saying disband it, I'm not saying that at all. But after losing the tag team championships on Raw, which you can check out my review of that, I was not very happy about, they're not going to interrupt Bianca having a nearly year-long championship run. I don't know who's going to beat her. I fear Charlotte. Some people have suggested Rhea Ripley, which I'm okay with Rhea beating Bianca. I'm not okay with Charlotte beating Bianca because I'm not okay with Charlotte existing in this company anymore. But I think Bianca will end up beating Bayley. Just that'll happen, then we'll move on from that. Just please don't have Bianca lose to Charlotte if Charlotte comes back and goes to Raw. But expect a ton of interference. Ton of smoke and mirrors. Whoa, but we're not going to get Cody Rhodes coming back because he's not going to have that theme. Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul, Undisputed Universal Championship match. I'm going to say right now, Roman will win. If Roman does not win, if they actually try to shock the world and have Logan Paul beat Roman for the championship, that will be the last WWE review that I do until Logan Paul loses the championship. Now, they're not going to do it. They're not going to be stupid enough to do that. But I've also said that about Vince, and I've said that about some stuff that Triple H did in NXT. If they have Logan Paul win, I guarantee you, I'll just post movie reviews. I'll just post that. I am not going to review. That's going to be it for the time being. I've had to give up on various things. I mean, I've almost practically given up on New Japan because of some of the stuff they've done. So I really hope they don't, because it would be catastrophic. It would be a disaster. It'd be worse than David Arquette winning the WCW title, which, to be fair, he didn't want to do. Because Logan Paul has no business competing for championships. Now, I get why they're doing it. They're trying to get as much attention on this event as they can. Logan Paul wins, I'm out. I'm out until he loses. Or maybe I'll just come back for the Rumble. I don't know. But Roman will win. And then I don't know who the hell he's going to lose to at WrestleMania. I'd be amazed if he'd lost the title before WrestleMania. So agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.